After studying this module, you shall be able to know the meaning of project performance, understand the need for performance measurement in project, identify the parties interested in performance measurement, understand types of performance management, identify the performance management process, identify the performance indicators of the project. In present times, measuring project performance is a critical issue as the sponsors infuse lot of funds in the project. So it is important for them to see that the project should meet the basic requirements of the concerned beneficiaries. The project specialists have drawn the attention towards using both quantifiable and non-quantifiable performance indicators for measuring project performance, which in turn leads to the success of the project. Performance measurement is a process by which an organization measures critical indicators of its programs and processes. Data is collected to measure the current working of processes and performances and then compare to organizational goals and objectives to see how effectively and efficiently the organizations are working. Coming to the need for performance measurement in project. The measurement of performance is required by project manager to identify the discrepancies in the project at early stages and to rectify it, as it will help in mitigating the losses which otherwise could have occurred and causes the loss to the organization. It begins with setting up the standards for the size of the work packages, crediting the team for work performed that was performed by the team and earned value metrics to track. Such work must be included in the project's budget. Performance measurement helps the project manager to follow Kaizen and Kanban system. These measures contribute towards the success of the organization. The purpose of the performance measurement is discussed here. Number 1, evaluate. The basic purpose of the performance measurement is to evaluate how well the organization is working. It provides the necessary information about the project, whether the problems in the project are reducing or they are worsening. But while using this tool, every care should be taken to use it diligently. Comparison. Performance measurement helps the organization in comparing what was supposed to happen and what actually is happening. This comparison is very critical in order to bring the efficiency as well as the effectiveness in the performance of the project. Basis of improvement. Measurement of performances provides the base for improvement in performance. Therefore, the errors can be measured very accurately, which helps in taking the right action at the right time. Make decisions on appropriate evidence. Performance measures provides evidence where the panacea is required. So every corrective action taken has an evidence behind its happening. Tool of continuous improvement. Performance measurement acts as a tool of continuous improvement as it keeps on monitoring the deviations of actual from anticipated and helps in taking a timely corrective action which leads to the continuous improvement of the processes and programs in the project. Tool of reward. Performance measurement acts as a tool of reward as it is used for continuous monitoring of the programs and processes. So the actual and expected are compared. If each measure falls in line with the goals and objectives of the organization, then those decisions are rewarded. Parties interested in performance measurement. The first one are project sponsors. A project sponsor have sponsored the project, so they are very much concerned about the performance of the project as huge funds are invested into the project. Employees. as career succession planning as well as salaries of the employees is very much related with performance of the project. So they are very much interested in performance of the project. The third are government and accrediting organizations and funding sources rely on performance measurement to see the competent use of the resources. The fourth ones are project promoters. As the return on investment is very critical factor for project promoters, so they are concerned with the cost benefit analysis of the project. Types of performance measurement. It is very essential to classify the project performance measures to identify what system and processes are measured. There are four main types of performance measures. Number one, the process measure. Process measures quantifies a specific system. For example, the weighing units for different systems. Number two is outcome measure. Outcome measure measures the outcome of the project, and this outcome value is compared to the measuring standard. For example, NPV as an indicator gives some standard value which is compared with the actual outcome. Balancing measure. The balancing measure is used to check that the changes to bring improvement do not bring ill effects in the other processes or programs. Number four, structure of care measure. This measure is used in order to quantify whether the structure of the organization is appropriate to provide the said service or deliver the particular project. Coming to performance management process. Performance measurement process covers a sequence of steps as explained below. These are evaluating organizational priorities, choosing performance measure, setting the baseline, and then evaluating performance. Evaluating performance is further subdivided into satisfactory performance and non-satisfactory performance. The non-satisfactory performance leads to establishing goals for performance measure, developing an improvement plan, monitoring performance, and then goals achieved. If the goals are not achieved, it further leads to developing an improvement plan, then monitoring performance, and until the goals are achieved. Evaluate organizational priorities. The purpose is to ensure that the resources dedicated to the process of project measurement and performance are aligned with the organizational goals and objectives. The purpose of applying project performance measurement tool is to improve quality in the project so that the quality standards are met. The clue about the application of performance measurement can be gathered through the organizational strategic plan, community needs, and the like. Generally, through this step, the organizations identify what does not work well to find out its problematic areas. Huge amount of time is being spent on this activity so that the things can be planned well ahead of time. Choose performance measures. After the organization decides on which is the critical factor to be measured, then the time comes for choosing the specific performance measure. The performance measures will be chosen keeping in view the resources and within the given resources, the needs as well as the nature of the company as well as product. While choosing the measures, the expectations of the funding agencies should also be taken care of along with the priorities of the organization. One most important thing to be considered while selecting the performance measure is that the measure selected in the process must be able to bring some positive changes in the whole process if required. Determine a baseline. After choosing the performance measure, the next job is to collect baseline data for the project. Baseline data gives an idea of the performance of the outcome, which may be excellent or average and like. A trained team must be appointed to collect, analyze and interpret the data so that the baseline can be determined in the right perspective. Evaluate performance. After determining the baseline data, the next step is evaluating the performance in order to see whether the processes are going well or some improvement is required. If in this process evaluation is done and is considered okay, then develop another measurement tool, that is go to step number 1, and if not, then move towards the next step, that is develop an improvement plan. Develop an improvement plan. In case the performance measure shows the process is not working as desired, then another plan needs to be developed to improve the quality of the processes and system. A quality improvement plan is a strategy for identifying the implementing changes in the process in order to get improved performance. Monitor performance over time. A key part of the quality improvement process is to monitor measure when the changes are introduced. Again, the monitoring process makes the organization aware of whether the changes have improved the system or the process. Let us take a case. ABC Hospital in Punjab is working very well since its inception, that is 1995. But still, doctors feel that some gaps in the services are left. While doing need analysis at the management was more than open to provide the facilities in order to improve the quality of the services, as it is one of the established hospitals in the region and is known for its service quality. The hospital, along with OPD services, wants to provide special care in the area of cancer and diabetes, and while doing the analysis, need is felt for the ailing patients from around the areas. This may pose a challenge for customers to visit the hospital. The organization planned an orderly approach to introduce the special care services along with the solution of transportation, and this goal is included in strategic plan and become one of the parameters for measuring the quality improvement. On the basis of focused research, the quality group agrees to changes it wants to make, but emphasize that measurement should be an important part of the improvement. The quality improvement designed a study to measure the relationship between transportation and visit of cancer and diabetes patients to hospitals in order to take decisions whether to start with the transportation service or not. Feedback is taken from the patients. In the case of special services, the hospital uses electronic system to record baseline data. It is being observed that the insulin immunization rate for elderly people in the area was 42% last year and cancer survival rate was 36%. The data is then compared with the benchmarks. The data was compared with the data from immunization survey and found that the 67% of the people are getting vaccination in case of diabetes, and from the HDI index it is clear that cancer survival rate was 45%, matching closely to target population. After determining the baseline, the hospital success rate is considered with the benchmark. In case of diabetes, it is 42% as compared with the benchmark as 67%. And in case of cancer, it is 36%, which is close to the benchmark, that is 45%. So the hospital gets a clue from this that in terms of cancer, measure developed is good, but in case of diabetes, improvement plan is required. Teams start work by revisiting their process followed before. Following that, other organizations come face to face with some challenges at one point of time or the other. Small changes are done every day in the processes. The teams meet on the fixed day every week and receive updated information on calculation measures so as to bring improvements in the form of desired changes to meet the benchmark. For the patients who are not able to come on their own for getting the diabetes information, recorded the teams were sent to their places and data was taken care of, and sometimes transport arrangements can also be made in order to bring them to hospital if the hospital vehicles, though limited, but are free. Last but not the least, health teams help the patients to change their lifestyles so that the disease can be cured fast. Lot of efforts are put to cure the patients and to meet the benchmarks. The quality improvement teams continued like this only till the time the hospital achieves a target above the 65% of immunization, and the hospital monitors the rate annually in order to maintain its benchmark and follow quality improvement in order to bring changes. Coming to the performance indicators of the project. Implementing project measurement performance tools will help the organizations to achieve multifaceted goals like comparing the performance of one project with other projects, that is ensuring that only like projects will be compared. To determine whether the project is achieving its objectives. If not, it helps in taking timely corrective action without wasting the important resources. The performance indicators vary from industry to industry depending on the strategy, technology, competitive environment and are usually defined during the project design, either taken from logical framework matrix or may be defined separately. Measuring project performance will help the project manager to have control over the project. The success of project depends on frequency with which the project information is collected. The information to monitor the project performance may be collected monthly, weekly, depending on the nature as well as duration of the project. Both the quantifiable and non-quantifiable techniques generally used to measure the project performance are discussed below. Number 1. Quantifiable measures of project performance. Some of the financial and economic measures used as performance indicators are discussed below. These are benefit cost ratio method, payback period method, net present value method, internal rate of return, productivity over yield method, cost of quality method and cost of performance. Benefit cost ratio. As it is clear from the benefit cost ratio method calculates the benefit from the project as compared to the cost incurred on the project. The ratio shows the relationship between the present value of inflow and the present value of outflow. The project with highest benefit cost ratio is selected. Payback period method. This is another method of selecting the project. This method calculates the time required for the project to recover its cost. The project having the shortest payback period is selected. Net present value method. This is one of the discounted method where time value of money is considered. Herein, it is assumed that the dollar earned today is more important than tomorrow. This method talks about the difference between the present value of cash inflows and the present value of cash outflows of the project. The project having positive NPV is only considered and the project with highest NPV is selected. Internal rate of return method. This is the rate of return where NPV is 0. In other words, this is the rate where present value of cash outflows is equal to present value of cash inflows. The project with higher IRR is selected. Productivity yield method. Productivity or yield is the output produced per unit of input. This measure tells the company whether it is getting money's worth from your inputs or not. Productivity yield is equal to output over input per unit. This allows the firms to compare their improvement in productivity over time. In order to have value for comparison purposes, productivity index is used. It is the ratio of productivity measured in one time period to the ratio of productivity measured in the base period. For example, if base year's productivity is 1.85 and current year's productivity is 1.95, then the resulting productivity index will be 1.85 over 1.95, indicating that the productivity index will fall or increase by some percentages of productivity of the base period. By following the productivity index over time, the project manager will come to know about the performance of the project. Cost of quality method. Cost of quality is the amount of money lost because of imperfections in the delivery of the project not meeting the specifications or the expectations. It is calculated by dividing the cost of quality by actual cost. The cost will include the expenditures on inspections, redoing the work, replacements and damage to the client as well as the reputation of the company. Cost performance. The cost performance index is used to evaluate the cost efficiency. It is computed by dividing the earned value performed by the actual cost. The accurate forecasting of cost performance help the organizations to appropriately assign capital, reducing systematic risk, probably reducing the cost of capital. Quantitative measures of project performance. These include customer satisfaction scale method, cycle time, requirement performance, balanced scorecard. Coming to the customer satisfaction. The scale of 1 to 100 customer satisfaction means that customer expectations are met well in time and according to his expectations in terms of usability, that is satisfying the need, and requirements, that is according to the specifications. It is an index comprising of indicators of clients' typical behavior of investing in the project. Index is weighted on the how important each value is in measuring consumer satisfaction. It helps to understand and act on customer feedback. This performance measuring tool can help you to increase profitability through cost reduction and increased revenue. It is used as a benchmark to compare your results with your competitors who are alike. Cycle time. It is also one of the project performance measure tools. This cycle defines the beginning and end of the project. Cycle time consists of process as well as project cycle time. This can be used to measure the standard project cycle time. The shorter the cycle time, the faster the organization is going to get back the money. Cycle time measures are based on standard performance. Requirement performance. Meeting the requirements is the key to success in any business. Requirement performance is used as a performance measurement tool. It is used to build up the indicators used to measure whether the client requirements are met through the project. The index helps in measuring whether the project outcomes meet the client requirement. Both the functional and aesthetic requirements are measured. A lot of skill and experience is required to design and use this technique. Balanced scorecard. Balanced scorecard proposed by Kaplan and Norton is non-financial tool used to measure whether short-term operational activities or the tactics are lined up with long-term objectives in terms of vision and strategy. The model is formed to overcome the following weaknesses of traditional performance measures. Single factor measures like ROI used by the organizations to measure the performance is an incomplete tool as it is not able to provide the complete picture of the organizational performance. Such tools can only tell that a fall in ROI demonstrates a fall in performance without giving any idea as to why this happens. Therefore, these tools cannot be used as a guide to action. Managers sometimes look towards ROI, not shareholder wealth, as an objective. There is always a confusion whether ROI is a tool of measurement or an objective. Single factor tools can easily be distorted by the dishonest managers to use the information in their favor. The balanced scorecard approach involves measuring performance under 4 different perspectives which are given here. The one is financial perspective, that is how do we look to our shareholder community. This leads to the internal process perspective and the customer perspective. The internal process perspective asks the question, what must we excel at? While the customer perspective asks, how do customers see us? Both of them jointly lead to growth perspective, that is, can we contribute to improve and create value? Now we can also look at this table, which includes the perspective, the critical success factor and the key performance indicators. The financial perspective, which has a critical success factor regarding the shareholder wealth, and its key performance indicator is dividend yield as percentage of increase in share price. It also covers the cash flow, that is actual versus budget debtor days. Then in the case of customer perspective, the critical success factor is hospital services and the key performance indicator can be patient recovery rate, brand name and patient's feedback. Then there can be flexibility, that is timing of visits, that is OPD, morning timings, evening timings and emergency. Under the process efficiency, we look at the resource utilization, that is the percentage of room occupancy, average ward size, average doctors, shifts, load. Then on growth perspective, we just consider innovation products, information technology and the key indicators are percentage of sales from less than 1 year old number of admissions. The balanced scorecard approach to performance measurement offers several advantages. It measures performance completely following 360-degree approach. Managers are unlikely to be able to distort the performance measure as not the single factor but multiple performance measures are used, so the performance cannot be hidden whether good or bad. Long-term perspectives of business performance is taken care of along with short-term perspective. Flexibility of the tool is one of the major factors for the favorability of the tool, as to what is measured can be changed over time to reflect changing priorities. What gets measured gets done. The main difficulty with the balanced scorecard tool is setting standards for each of the key performance indicators. The organizations who do not apply the tool of performance measurement before find it difficult to apply this kind of tool. In this kind of situations, benchmarks can be applied. Weighted scoring model. In this method, the key factors required in the project are listed and then weighed according to their importance and priority. Then all weighed values are added. This criterion is adopted for the entire project proposal and the project having highest weighted scoring is selected. Now let us summarize what we have learned from this module. Both the quantitative and qualitative methods are used to measure the project performance, which helps in achieving the goals of the organization in efficient and effective manner. Presently, measuring project performance is a critical issue as the sponsors infuse lots of funds in the project, so it is important for them to see that the project should meet the basic requirements of the concerned beneficiaries. The project specialists have drawn the attention towards using both quantifiable and non-quantifiable performance indicator for measuring project performance, which in turn leads to the success of the project.